November 8th, 2023. I am at Joel Pearl, and I am back to join y'all in the weeds. That's right. Jeremy singing keeps me going. So I came right back after taking a Monday off. I got poked and prodded on Monday because Jeremy wouldn't let me onto the show. Hope y'all are doing well. Jeremy Lambert is here, and he's trying his best to give his thumbs down. But Jeremy.
You're here, you're late. Like, what is happening, Joel? You come back.
Jeremy, look in my eyes. What do you see? CM Punk's profile is full of binary.
I don't get it.
No?
No.
Oh.
I don't understand.
Like two people.
I thought, is that not a DX thing that you were doing? What was that?
So it was that was the binary code from the Matrix.
Okay, what does that have to do with CM Punk?
Do you not? You probably didn't see it. So some dork on the internet, because dorks on the internet, posted that CM Punk's.
Anyway, Joel Pearl's been fired just completely for doing some social media bits that I don't understand and that no one could possibly give a fuck about.
Oh, I thought you were going to do this show solo for a while.
What is happening, Joel?
I got it, and that's all that matters. See, Cyclops gets it. Cyclops gets the bit.
I got no. All right, explain.
I just did. And somebody pointed out that there was an update to the Punk profile on WWE.com, and it was just it was just binary code. That's all it was. And that's all it was. People were just like, does this mean something? And everyone was like, it doesn't mean shit. Stop it. It was awful. He's in the Matrix now. CM Punk. He's gonna be Matrix Punk. That's gonna be his gimmick when he comes back.
We got a tremendous show for everybody today. Let's I need like a pen. No one remembers the first 2.5 minutes of this show because that was awful, and I have no idea what Joel Pearl is doing. All of you, especially Joel, should get the hell offline. Just get offline. Don't pay attention to any of this nonsense that anybody is tweeting. Don't pay attention to any of this stuff. Go outside, get in the weeds. I don't want to use the touch grass thing because I think that's a little overplayed. But just go outside. All right, get offline. Do not worry about profile updates and whatever. That was terrible. It was honestly, I'm embarrassed to be associated with that.
It was dumb last night when it came up too, but here we are.
So we don't have to mention it. Like we don't.
You know why?
Weed is legal. Weed is legal in Ohio. You know what I did with my time?
Yeah, y'all voted on legalizing it. Once it's legal, then you can talk about it.
You know what I did with my time, Joel Pearl? I voted yesterday. Good. I actually sent in my ballot. I did one of those things. I didn't go to the polls, but I did vote.
Jeremy famously does not leave the house.
That's not true. I'm like a glorified chauffeur. That's what you are when you got kids.
I get it.
But yeah, I voted. I try to make a difference in this country. Like you people with your friggin' white rabbit Easter eggs out here with CM Punk. Jesus.
I have said many times, I'm over it. I'm sick of it. When we bring up stuff like this, it's very much in jest. It's gotten ridiculous. And it's gotten to the point where people are just, choose your own adventure. So just drop it. Just leave it be, people. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, well, guess what?
I tried to leave it be. You're the one bringing this up for no reason. I don't know what's going on.
Because when ridiculous shit like this starts, that's when it makes it even more fun to talk about. Some of these are just fantastic.
Okay. I got nothing. I didn't know what the bit was. I didn't know what it was. So I got nothing to add. It's all dumb to me.
Are you upset because you weren't part of the bit?
No, even if I understood it, I would have think it's all stupid. Like I don't care if I'm part of the bit or not. I don't it's dumb. It's all dumb.
All of wrestling is dumb. That's why we're here though.
Am I in a bad mood today? I feel like I'm in a bad mood.
I don't know. I may have just gotten a DM from someone asking if you're feeling okay, if you're feeling ornery.
Oh, I mean, I I don't know. Maybe I'm in a bad mood. I don't know.
Listen, the weather here in Toronto at least is gloomy. It started off sunny and beautiful, and now the clouds have come in. So I get it. I get being a little down. I'm a little up because I haven't been on a show since last Friday. I was off on Monday.
Maybe
Tuesday,
that's why I'm in a bad mood. You're back. I had such a fun. I did a show with SP3 on Monday, and then
You
SP3
were
again
no,
yesterday.
Stop it. When
What?
you were with SP3, you were telling off the chat doing your pancakes and waffles bit over Will Ospreay. I heard. I saw it. You were getting angry about your Will Ospreay comments, which, by the way, I agree with you largely on your thoughts on Will Ospreay. I do, but at the same time, I saw chat. Some people, not all of chat. I saw chat was getting a little strange with you. I watch on Twitch whenever I'm watching Fightful stuff for two reasons. One, it's our channel. Two, you can actually listen in audio only mode, so I don't have to worry about keeping the screen on and burning out my battery on YouTube. So there you go. That's my reasoning.
Michael says I seem to be in a bad mood. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. Do we want to restart this show? Let's take it from the top.
All right, here we go.
Okay, take it from the top.
All right, I gotta do the thing. 1 sec.
Okay.
All right, here we go. And 1 and 2 and. It's November 8th, 2023. I am at Joel Pearl, and it's time to get in the weeds. I am excited for today's show because we're going to talk about WarGames. And we're going to talk about trying to move our show over to the CW because it seems like the bar is so low that as long as you're not doing cocaine, you can get a job and a show on the CW. Jeremy Lambert, how are you doing?
Joel, we got to talk about the biggest story of the day. Did you see CM Punk's coming back to WWE with a binary code on his profile?
Let's go. I can't believe we just played out this bit in 7 minutes. Oh, God. Okay. Anyway,
right, what are we actually talking about today? What is this show?
We're going to talk about leaving a thumbs up on the video and, of course, subscribing to us here at Fightful Overbooked. This is the silliness you get when you come and join us here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern until noon. For others, of course, we drop content every single day, whether it's Tag Talk on Mondays or you got Indeed with Righteous Reg and Mike every wow, do they drop Thursdays?
Wednesday.
They're Wednesdays. Who's on Thursdays then?
Who's on first? Nobody's technically on Thursdays. Tag Talk might be on Thursday this week because they did not do a show on Monday. So they might do a show on Thursday. But technically nobody's actually on Thursday. That's where I usually upload interviews, or Kyler cuts the interviews, or I do a spotlight interview or whatever. I put something there on Thursday.
All right. Well, we still drop content every single day, and there's a live stream almost every single day. So you want to go and just join us there. We used to have a content calendar, and then we were just like, people have lives.
That's like a week.
It lasts about a week. And of course, you can send us a super chat, any amount, get your question statement around the air, and supports us here at Fightful Overbooked because we need all the help we can get, both on the air and off the air. Let me tell you, Chi-Town Spurs says the acting I saw in NXT yesterday makes the Arrow look like the Wire. Oh no, they were right at home on CW. So yesterday was the earnings call for TKO, the first big earnings call. But really, we're not going to get into the weeds on that because that's a Brandon Thurston WrestleNomics thing. Let's let them do that. That's a Pollock and Thurston, and I'm sure Jimmy's going to talk about it over on the Hump this afternoon. What really was interesting was that about an hour before they announced it, PW Insider said they're deep in talks, WWE and CW. And NXT is officially moving to the CW network in October of 2024. How did you feel when you read the news? I mean, we've been talking about the rights negotiations for a bit. I know you're going to be like, I don't care. But like, in terms of just like, the show was on, well, for me, it's on Sportsnet, but it was on USA for so long. Does a move to CW really mean much? And also, of course, we're going to have to talk about the NWA because it's your favorite promotion.
See, when all this stuff happens, the money doesn't matter to me. They're getting paid. Cool. Like, I don't get any of the money, so I don't care. And that they got a 70% rights increase. Good for them. The network is fine. Like, I have access regardless. I have CW. I have the app. I watch my F-Boy Island every Thursday or whenever it's up on the app. I don't watch it live. I rarely watch anything live. Legitimately wrestling and sports is like it. So I have the app. I have access. So nothing really changes for me. It's just on a different network. So it's not that I don't care. It's that I'm not like me personally, I'm not super affected by it. I assume CW is less visibility, or maybe it's more visibility. I don't know what the like network homes that nowadays are. It seems like that changes from week to week of how many people are in how many homes and all of this stuff. Like it's a thing. Like USA to see it's I guess it's good that it's still on TV. It's not like they're off television or anything. It doesn't seem like a huge downgrade. I think the bigger thing will be and Michael says it's so off that it doesn't seem it's not that newsworthy at the time. Like it's newsworthy because they did the big press release and everything. But I kind of agree with him of like, is it going to remain on Tuesdays? I know Sean's report said the hope is that it's still going to be on Tuesdays and everything, but that could change a year from now when schedules shift. The big domino to still fall is Raw. Like we don't know what's going to happen with Raw right now. So yeah, NXT on CW doesn't change a whole lot of anything for me. Like it's all the same access to me.
Yeah. There is a larger potential for audience because it is
Okay.
broadcast, which is great. On the other hand, I'm thinking about how many people were just like, do I even get CW? I saw a lot of tweets like that. I saw a lot of people asking that, which, I had a good laugh about it. But again, me as a Canadian, it doesn't matter because they're still locked up with Rogers Sportsnet for, I think, another couple of years. I know Paul will probably answer that, but yeah.
All I need F-Boy Island NXT. That's all I care about. I got no idea what else is on CW. I know Riverdale used to be. I assume still is. I don't know if that show's still on the air. I used to watch Riverdale and watched them forever. But yeah, that show. I go to the app. I see Dawson. They air Dawson's Creek apparently. So that's on CW nowadays. I would say it's the old episodes of Dawson's Creek, but they reboot and remake everything. Then, for all I know, it's new episodes of Dawson's Creek.
I don't think that's what happened.
Okay, well, don't know. Everything's a reboot and a remake here, Joel. So, for all I know, it could be new Dawson's Creek. But apparently, they air Dawson's Creek. All I need, Hellcats. That's a good shout, Ace Shock. That's a really good shout right there. Okay, Riverdale just ended. Thank you, Luis. Hellcats was a great show. That was Ali Mashauka and Ashley Tisdale right in that show. I don't know who else was in it. Teenage me loved some Ali Mashauka and Ashley Tisdale. F-Boy Island NXT. That's all I care about. That is all I care about. That's all I want. That's all I need. I need Von Wagner on F-Boy Island. I need Braun Breaker on F-Boy Island. Are you a nice guy? Are you an F-Boy? That's all. That's what I want. They do the acting on NXT, right? That's the acting show, right? Like this is perfect.
Yeah.
This is perfect. I need it. Come on. I assume F-Boy Island's still going to be like a thing in 2024. Better be, or else I'm going to fight some people at CW.
I mean, if it's doing the numbers, then it's going to stick around. And it's reality TV, so it's cheap to produce. So stuff like that always goes far. Cody Wilson, super chat saying NXT on CW is a win. CW is free over the air. They have ACC football, so I guess that's college football and hoops, and NASCAR is starting in 2025. I think they also do an inside access for one of the major sports. It could be NFL. They're doing something else that's a big deal on CW. And of course, they have Live Golf, so you can feel how you feel about that. Has potential to do great numbers. Good for that crew. Which, by the way, I bring up Live Golf because people are like, how can they afford to do, to buy NXT? Well, first of all, it's 37 a year million. They can afford it because of Live Golf. Let's face it. It's basically the Live Golf network, and WWE's home is in Riyadh. That being said, the CW deal is good. I look at the number that NXT brings in, and then I look at the number that AEW is reported to be making now, and I see no reason why AEW isn't able to make a lot more, because given what NXT is about to make and what AEW currently makes, they're a lot closer than they were, in the last deals. So I'm looking forward to AEW being able to announce a bigger deal, which means bigger opportunities for them to expand, produce, work on the things that you and I talk about creatively and production wise. And again, the idea of getting more money is potentially to put some more investment into your work, into your product. What that comes from is starts with the TV deal. But I will say, Jeremy, it goes back to the conversations you and I started having at the beginning of the show, that Raw and NXT working in tandem was absolutely for the TV deal, for the rights deal. Seems like they got a win. They got something that they're happy about. They definitely upped their fees, at least 70%, according to Ari Emanuel. WWE, as reported by Fightful Select, feels like they got even more than that based on where NXT was even 5 years ago. So this is a good deal for NXT. And listen, love them or hate them, they're doing some pretty good stuff on the TV show. Sometimes it's corny as hell, but it's fun.
All right, let's talk about the real story of this whole deal.
You go to hell, Paul Levesque. You go to hell.
What's happening with my beautiful NWA here? I was all excited for NWA on CW Network. They were going to be doing lines in the diner with Archie. That's Riverdale, right? They're going to be doing lines in the diner with old Archie and Betty. I don't know who else is on that show.
Jughead.
Right? Jughead
Would be the kind to do a few.
Okay. And now seems out. I'm not thrilled about this, Joel. Not thrilled. Was looking forward to big badass Billy Corgan's wedding on the CW.
You can still get it on the app potentially. You use the app. You just said it. You watch F-Boy Island on the app.
Well, yeah, but that actually airs on CW. I just watch it on the app. It's amazing. It's amazing. The last time I watched Riverdale, what was
I was about to bring this up.
Ooh. The man, it had to be like season like 3 or so, maybe 2 even. The Sweet Life kid was getting jumped in front of the diner. That was like, he was joining like the motorcycle gang, whichever one, Zach or Cody, I don't know which one plays, whatever he plays, he was getting beat up by a motorcycle gang in front of a diner. That's the last thing I can like recall from that show. So I assume it's gotten really super insane since it was a pretty insane show even back then. Yeah, so NWA looks like they're all right, let's set the scene for everybody. There was he's only missed out on 9 cults and 7 serial killers. Nice. Okay. So Nick Hausman, House of Wrestling, reported that NWA was signing the deal with CW. Billy Corgan was the one who said we've signed 2 network deals. So Billy Corgan was the one who initially teased it. Hausman said it was CW. And then the report came out over the weekend, Saturday, that the cocaine spot at Sawin got them in some trouble, and it could, negatively affect the deal. It might move to the app. Corgan was under the impression, this is hilarious. Corgan was under the impression that they weren't paying attention to the pay-per-view. They were only watching the television stuff. They didn't care what happened on pay-per-view. And the big thing was like, it was all about this reality show of like CW was really happy to have Billy Corgan's wedding as part of all this. They didn't care about the wrestling stuff. They were just really happy to have Billy Corgan's wedding. But it might move to the app now. And then 2 days, 3 days later, hey, CW is signing a deal with NXT. I don't think that like it, all changed that quickly, and it all changed because of one cocaine spot. I don't think like CW saw that, got the backlash from that, and was like, you know what? Let's call up WWE and see if we can get their programming on our network. I don't think that happened. Could be wrong. Maybe Sean narked and was like, hey, you see these guys pay-per-view? They're doing some stuff like, I don't think you want this kind of stuff on your F-Boy Island network.
That's right. There's only room for nose candy on one network, and that is Fightful.com.
I don't think it'll change that quickly. So here's my conspiracy theory. Here's my speculation. Here's my look at things. And I could be completely wrong on this. I think Billy obviously thought they had a deal, and I'm sure they did. I think that CW was always in negotiation with WWE. And I think that the deal may have for NWA was possibly never supposed to be like on the actual network, that it was always supposed to be app related content. And then the cocaine stuff like made that more of hard there.
I don't know if cocaine really does hard so well.
Never done it, so
Me
I don't
neither.
know.
I've been around enough people have told me. I don't know.
Yeah. But I solidified. I don't know. But I think that's my read on things is that NWA was kind of always going to live on the app. And like maybe there was potential it was going to be on network, but now, like, obviously with the NXT deal, that's probably off. Look, for all I know, NXT runs 8 o'clock. Maybe they want to have NWA Power as the lead in for NXT. Like, maybe.
If I'm WWE, I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe 10 o'clock. Maybe, you know what? Maybe 2 o'clock. Let's do. How about this? We'll do NXT, then we'll do an immediate NXT replay, and then we'll do the West Coast NXT, and then we'll think about having Power over on the next morning at noon or midnight.
Like that's that's kind of my read on it as well. But NWA has said that Billy Corgan has said, like, we love WWE. We get along great with WWE. We've never wronged WWE. Oh, Billy starts cutting promos on WWE now for the cheap heat, as he called it. I hope that's what happens. It is hilarious though, if this cocaine spot like blew up their entire deal because big badass Billy Pumpkins was like, I didn't think anybody was watching this pay-per-view.
Which, like, okay, there's one thing that I've learned from this entire experience, and that is you never know who's watching, and you never know who's listening, and you never know who's paying attention. We've told the story before. We had Andrew Zarian on this show after the first episode of Collision, the Monday after the first, so the ratings were going to drop, but then it was also it was a holiday in the United States, so they weren't out, but Andrew had them. He came on the show, he told us, and then he started getting phone calls being like, because we had been promoting that he dropped on the show, someone found that Zarian had mentioned it, and they contacted Zarian and be like, all right, what are the numbers? I don't want to go through an entire podcast to find them. The point being, yeah, the cowards should have scrubbed through an entire 2 hours of us talking nonsense just to get a number, which was like 860.
It's not even 2 hours. Zarian was on for like the first half hour. It's
That's
a
right.
half hour. Put it on double time. You're fine.
Bunch of cowards not knowing how to watch a program. You could have scrubbed through. Anyway, they didn't. But the point is, you'd never know who's going to find your content, who's watching your content, who's keeping eyes on your content. So just if this is true, and he really thought, like, I don't think people were going to watch on Fight TV for $9.99. Like, Jesus Christ.
It is hilarious that, like, and I see people in the chat bringing up, that spot didn't serve a purpose to the show. It's not like they did it and then James Mitchell and Gags the Gimp are running wild because they're all hopped up on the coke. They just did it to like pop themselves, which, hey, more power to them for doing that. But they did it to just pop themselves, and that was it. It was like, hey, let's just do this. We're going to get a clip out of it. And they did. And then they backtracked of like, wait a second. This was not the attention we thought we were going to get from this.
Someone's going to drop a rumor or a report, or someone's going to say something that, like, in a few days that they're going to say, oh, James Mitchell went into business for himself and that spot was not planned, but they rolled with it. I swear to God, they are going to try and mop it up to the best of their ability. It's just the way it is. Caden sent a super chat saying, who's better, Billy Pumpkins or David S. Pumpkins?
Any questions?
I think David Byrne is better. I like him.
David Byrne?
Byrne.
No, don't know who that is.
Singer of Talking Heads.
Sure.
Great artist.
Legitimately, I'm not doing a bit. Legitimately, never heard of him
Most
or
people-
this
most people
band.
haven't. Really? No Talking Heads? Never? Burning Down the House?
There's Burning Down the House. Okay, I was gonna say there's probably like a song that I've heard that I just don't know it's them because I'm bad at that stuff. But okay, I do know Burn Down the House. Okay, gotcha.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad. And chat's catching on, so that's good too. So clearly we're talking about the right people here.
But yes, Gags the Gimp. What do you want me to say? That's the name of the wrestler, everybody. I'm not doing not doing a bit. They named their wrestler Gags the Gimp. What do you? This is why all this pieced out because it's like, yeah.
Dude, what if they? Oh my god! I hope that just one time, I hope WWE just rips him on an episode of SmackDown and has someone like local enhancement talent is a gimp. It's just someone who walks in a mask and it's like, oh, I got your opponent for tonight, this man, and he walks in and he's just like, oh Jesus Christ, and it's like whoever it is takes off the mask. It's Karrion Kross.
Oh boy.
We're rebranding Cross. Anyway, I just want once. I want them to play that one little rib on Nick Aldis. It'd be great.
Maybe they'll get to that at some point. Bless this company calling somebody Gags the Gimp, doing cocaine spots, drinking Jack Daniels. They got a CW as a Jose Cuervo sponsorship. I think that's what really killed it. They were drinking Jack, and CW is a Jose Cuervo network. So that's where it really went wrong for them. I don't know what's going to come of the NWA deal now. Maybe it is just a network thing. Again, based on the Hausman report, they seem more excited about Billy Corgan's wedding than they cared about any of this wrestling stuff. And maybe that's because they were like, well, we got NXT. What do we need NWA for? Yeah, cool. We get Billy Corgan's wedding. I don't know what that means to people in 2024, but bless them that they got this.
I didn't even realize that he was getting married again.
No idea. No idea.
Are these the same people who are reading like People magazine and seeing that Patrick Dempsey is like the sexiest man alive this year? And he's like in his 50s.
Clearly, because I don't know if they were watching NWA, if they were just like, yeah, we want this product on our network. And then they started watching and they're like, wait a second, what did we get ourselves into?
Ruh-roh.
Billy Corgan's promo was more offensive than the cocaine spot.
And I'm pretty sure that he just put that cocaine spot on the air so that people would take away from that. You go to hell, Matt Cardona. Go to hell. Hell. I reposted that thing.
I got this morning. This can't be true. What? According to the wife, Billy Corgan dated Jessica Simpson.
Sure. I mean, what constitutes dating? Because in did they go on a couple of dates? Were they together for a few months? Were they?
I'm going on the Who's Dated Who, the Internet Authority on celebrity dating,
as one does.
Yes,
I usually use Twitter for that because Twitter is a highly respectable, fully believable source for information and news, especially blue check marks.
So Lisa Marie Presley.
Oh yeah, that sounds about right.
Chloe Mendel. I don't know who that is.
Howie's kid.
Jessica. No, it's spelled differently.
I figured.
Jessica Origilacio. I don't know who that is. Jessica Simpson. Jackie Johnson. And Tila Tequila. I actually remember.
She's gone bonkers. We don't talk about her no more.
Tila Tequila. Sierra Swan. Emily Autumn. Yelena Yemchuk. Courtney Love. Chris Fabian. Jennifer French. And Fiona Horn. Okay, when did they date? 2009. Oh, there's a picture of them. What? Did they go on like one date? 1 month and 1 day. That's not dating.
That's not dating. That's what's the word that they use? Dealing.
What was their compatibility? They do like these compatibility. I can't.
No, compatibility is how well they fight.
compatibility. Why can't I speak? 79% compatible. I don't believe that at all. Look at this picture of them. Hold on.
Is this with Jessica Simpson?
Yeah, this is with Jessica Simpson.
What's her sign? Let's see.
Ah.
She's a Cancer. And what's Billy Corgan's sign? Let's find out. Billy Corgan is.
I don't believe in that stuff.
Neither do I. But here we are. Oh man, he was born March. Is he March 17th? Was that what that said?
Yes.
Oh wow, March 17th.
Yeah. And look at this picture. Look, there's old big badass Billy Pumpkins and Jessica Simpson.
Billy's like, I don't need to be here.
There you go, everybody. You learn something new on this show.
So Billy is a Pisces.
Sure.
And she was, what did I say she was?
Cancer.
A Cancer.
Yeah.
They have a deep intuitive bond. They're spontaneous.
All that stuff's fake, Joel.
I know, but this is just funny to read sometimes.
All that stuff's fake. She was 29 at the time, and he was 42. I don't know. Oh, there's more pictures.
Of course there are.
Oh, this picture fucking rules. Hold on. Hold on, let me bring up this one. This is so creepy. Oh my gosh. These photos are amazing. I've gone deep in the Billy Corgan, Jessica Simpson photo lore. There's only a few of them. All right, here we go. Hold on.
Can't get that deep then.
Nah. All right, so let's pull these up on the chat here.
Nick Lachey drove that girl crazy.
Yeah. Look at this one. Look at old Billy in the background there.
That's the same photo.
It's a little different.
Yeah, because she turned around to get in the car.
No, see, it's a little different. See, she's got a bigger smile in that one. It's not the same photo.
One.
Billy's kind of making the same face. It's not the same photo though. Look at this one. Look at Billy. Looks like he's just like.
This is the same outing.
It's all the same outing. Yes, yeah, that's 100% true. It's all the same outing. Look at this. Let's just leave this on screen the entire time. Just Billy staring into your soul as he wonders why he's on this date with Jessica Simpson.
His publicist put him up to this something fierce.
Oh my god!
Are you sure they dated?
Yeah. That seems more likely. That
You think Jessica Simpson's a wrestling fan? We got to find out and bring her on the show.
Maybe we get Jessica Simpson on this show.
I'm trying to get Mr. Beast on the show, so here we go.
Good luck.
Yeah, tell me about it. I'm surprised he's not pounding down the door trying to join us.
Yes. All right. Jessica Simpson, is she on the social media?
Of course she is. She's a celebrity. Get me out of here.
I don't know if she'd be, active. I don't know how this stuff works. I cannot DM Jessica Simpson. That's confirmed.
You can probably do it on the Instagram.
I'm not big on the Instagram.
I know. Isn't that the worst?
Yeah.
And I DM'd Ariel Helwani to say something nice, and he never read it because I'm not important on Instagram.
Yeah. What can you do? All right. What else? What are we talking about?
Jessica Simpson and Billy Corgan.
Oh. What's your favorite Jessica Simpson song?
The last one.
Joel.
Next.
With You's a banger. That's a great song. Love that song.
She definitely had you know what? A Billy Corgan, Jessica Simpson reality show that would have hit the CW hard. They would have been all over that.
Partner, Punch. What's the other one? Promo. Jessica Simpson, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera.
What are my options again?
Partner.
Oh, I can't punch a woman. No, we cannot do this. No. We can't. No. Absolutely.
Partner, body slam, promo.
It's a little better.
Pickup. How about pickup?
Pickup. But what are we talking about? Pickup here. Pickup from up. Anyway, absolutely not kidding. We're not doing that one.
Why, coward?
The weeds. Was it Brittany, Christina, and Simpson?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'd probably. I feel like Jessica Simpson could throw a mean punch. So I could probably partner up with her.
Okay.
I want a promo with Brittany because if something she's proven lately, it's that she's not afraid to do anything to make her point. And I guess that means I have to body slam Christina Aguilera, who's, maybe, she's small, so it wouldn't be too difficult. There you go.
Ashley Simpson had some bangers. Y'all are this is my genre right here. Ashley Simpson bangers. La La. I was singing out the La La in the car all the time. You know that song, Joel?
No, because right now my kid and
sing
I
it?
are reading a book called My Lala, and it is not like that at all. And all I can think about are my Lala dots because it's all about a kid who's in her mind phase. So go
La
ahead.
La is about fucking Joel Pearl.
Oh, great. Now I feel even worse about this book.
Yeah, La La is a song about fucking. You make me want to la la on the kitchen on the floor.
I remember this one. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Song ruled. I'll be
Mandy
a French
Moore
maid.
list, yeah.
Meet you at the door. It's about drinking cum and wanting more.
Who wrote that song?
That's what the song's about, everybody. Don't get mad at me.
Seems awful.
About fucking in various places.
Oh my god. So where does Raw end up now that NXT's on the CW?
I don't know.
This is
MTV.
So this is why I'm a little more interested in the CW deal, is because now that SmackDown and NXT have homes, Raw can maybe be a little more experimental with where they land. I don't hate the idea of again, Raw ending up on not Twitch, but on a streaming platform exclusively. It just has to make sense for WWE financially. And, in the past, Raw has done some more experimental stuff, at least with their broadcasting and with their simulcasting on different apps and doing different experiments. Maybe this is an opportunity for them to experiment something different for Raw. I don't know how long the deal would be, but I don't hate the idea of maybe Raw being that potential, test subject for streaming.
WWE Raw, MTV, 3 p.m. Eastern, when you just get home from school and you're ready to watch the wrestling. That's what we need. And then TRL, bring it back, right back after it. Let's just do a nostalgia show, Joel. Who cares about wrestling? Let's just reminisce.
FMC airs every Tuesday on this channel.
I mean, that's not really a nostalgia show.
Is it though, Jeremy? Let's face it. I see what y'all talk about. Basketball. It used to be better.
It used to be better. I'm talking about that. That's just SB3 doing his own thing. We play Love Is Blind mobile. That's a lot of fun. That's something else. Okay. Raw, I do agree that maybe they can go on the digital side. Nick Khan was very bearish, right? Bearish is good.
I don't remember. I know we've done this before.
All right. Nick Khan spoke highly. We'll use different terms. Nick Khan spoke highly of Amazon Prime when
bearish believes prices go down.
Okay, so bearish is not good.
You want
bullish is good. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, bullish is what you want.
All right. So Nick Khan spoke highly of Amazon Prime. He's like, yeah, if I ran SEC, I would tell them to go to Amazon. It's like, all right, well, Nick, you are running WWE, so what are you going to tell them? So he spoke highly of that. Amazon's doing good numbers from what I read with Thursday Night Football. Not this week, but because they got a terrible, awful football game this week that nobody should watch. But they're doing good numbers overall with Thursday Night Football. Do they go? So here's something. Do they go on Peacock? Peacock actual just streaming, not a network, not USA, not NBC, but Peacock streaming, because Sunday Night Football, they're on network, but you can also just stream the game on Peacock. So do they just live on Peacock as a live thing? I don't know. Does something like that happen? Do they change times?
So first of all,
days.
First of all, I just looked up the matchup for Thursday, and you were not trolling. That is an awful football game.
Yeah. So I know what the game is. I'm a fan of one of those teams.
I know, but sometimes you just say it just to make a good joke out of it or a good bit. No, this time you were being fully honest that this is not a game you want to watch.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it because I like to torture myself with sports, but nobody should actually watch this game on Thursday.
Viewership would be you and Seth Rollins. That's basically it.
Yeah, me and Seth. Can we? What's Seth doing today? You know what? I will legitimately reach out to Seth Rollins and see if he can come on Friday's show. It'll never happen, but I'll shoot a shot. Be like, hey, Seth, I'm a Panthers fan. You're a Bear. I'll do it right now. Let's
go.
We'll do this. We'll do a public tweet to Seth.
You're gonna reach out to their PR guys
at Seth Rollins.
Oh, okay then.
Nah, we'll just do a public. Who cares?
Oh, I see Jeff Valley Drivers entered the chat talking about the Sens. Never heard of them. Don't know who they are. Must be someone new in the pro wrestling sphere. Those Sens. Never heard.
WWE Rollins. Okay, I gotta make sure I get his username. All right, hello at WWE Rollins. I am unfortunately a Panthers fan.
Seems bad.
I'm not looking forward to the game on Thursday, but if you are free on Friday morning, would you want to come on our wrestling show to talk about Bears Panthers? Good luck this weekend. Good luck tomorrow. Hope you don't hate football. All right, there we go.
Hey, ask him about his suit choices this week.
I told that Seth Rollins story. People may or may not know I do have a kind of sort of history with Seth Rollins. A good history, nothing bad.
Did you press send?
Yeah, I posted it.
That's so funny.
All right.
Yes.
I didn't give like a time or anything. We'll just see if he, responds. Whatever.
Is he gonna start getting DMs or text messages from people being like, "The hell is this?"
What can you do? All right.
More Sean exclusive guys coming at you. So with Raw going potentially elsewhere, you mentioned Peacock. My feeling with Peacock is that they're already in that NBCU bubble, and they just shout out a lot for SmackDown. NBCU would make the most sense in terms of like the background of WWE, like the history with WWE, to do an experiment like this. But they already know how much this brand can be worth and how much more WWE would need to take it exclusively streaming. And I don't know if those numbers match up for WWE as much, because then, you've got NBC could just be like, we know the truth. Whereas WWE could go to Amazon and be like, we have the truth. And that's good enough. And Amazon is like, oh, put us on Prime. That'll put us over the top. Does Peacock really need more anchoring shows? I don't use Peacock to watch network stuff because, again, I'm a Canadian, so I don't watch stuff on Peacock. But like, I remember when it launched, The Office was the big reason to watch it. And I think it's gone, hasn't it? It's moved off of Peacock, or is it still there?
Pretty sure it's still there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's still
moved
there.
off of Netflix. That was the big thing. It was moving off of Netflix.
So
going to Peacock.
So if that's the case and they need an anchor show and they want to get into more live content, then sure, Raw would work. Would they move the night? Sure, you could do that too. It just comes down to what WWE wants to do with Raw, because Nick Khan has said multiple times, like, we don't care what day it's on. Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but like I said, it can go anywhere, and that's good enough for us. And then I saw Mike Straw was in the chat, and he made a really good point. The biggest problem with Prime or any streaming service is that the U.S. internet infrastructure is so damn poor. Many still can't access. That's a good point. Cable TV is still, it's king. They're not cable TV, but TV can still be king when you're trying to reach, as many people as you can in as good a quality as you can. And WWE clearly wants to put in the most quality to their production, and as a result, you need to be on TV for that.
So people, what was that?
Get your HDMI cables.
No. People in the chat, and this is also mentioned on the select report, and I'll bring up the select report so I can make sure all the wording is correct. Where's it at? It's from yesterday. Okay. Okay, here we go. USA Network, where NXT had resided, is expected to make a play for the NBA media rights. Regardless of where those lands, it will likely affect wrestling, as it'll affect available budget within USA and TNT, TBS, Warner Brothers, Discovery. WWE is still speaking to multiple suitors with Raw. There have been some reports. I don't think there was anything. I don't remember who put this out there, and I apologize with it, but USA, is expected to go after NBA. If they get NBA, that's obviously gonna change things of where they're gonna land in the wrestling space. And if Warner Brothers gets NBA, that's probably gonna change where they land as well. And right now, Warner Brothers has NBA, like they're doing the big Max launch. It's already started, but you can watch the sports on Max and everything. And so I think they're gonna make a pretty big play for NBA to keep that going. If they don't get the NBA, you would imagine they're willing to spend more on wrestling. They got a good relationship with AEW. AEW's always spoken highly of them. They've always spoken highly of AEW. But I've seen people, put out there, and I think it was like Variety or one of these, bigger publications put out there that WWE is a possibility with Warner Brothers. Caden's in the chat saying, I'm guessing TBS, TNT for WWE, which I wouldn't fully roll it out just because AEW is there right now, because all the rights are coming up around the same time. So there is a very big possibility. The NBA is the biggest domino to fall, everybody. Like that's the biggest thing to fall is the NBA, because the NBA is a bigger rights platform than wrestling. Just is. It's going to bring in more money. It's more visibility. It's also going to cost you a lot more to get all of that. And so if whoever gets NBA, whoever loses out on NBA will probably be looking more at wrestling, and then they'll budget whatever they have for it. So I don't know if Raw is going to be settled until the NBA gets settled, honestly. And I don't know when that's going to be. That could be another few months now. And then once that gets settled, then Raw's fine until October 2024. That's when the USA deal ends. If they don't have a deal in place by September, then we should probably panic about stuff. Until then, Raw is gonna be okay. And will they get the increase that they're looking to get? Don't know. A lot's going to depend on where the NBA falls, because that's the big ticket out there right now.
And if worst comes to worst, WWE could just buy a network and put their shows on there, along with reruns of Sammy Hagar concerts and other various content.
They'll go, like, they're not going to be hurting for a deal, right? It might not be, hey, this big rights increase that they were looking to get, but it's not like no one's going to be like, yeah, we don't want this show. Someone's going to pay for Monday Night Raw. Someone out there will pay for it, and someone will pay more than they're getting now. It might only be a 10% increase, but someone will pay more than what they're getting now. Again, the whole thing is their value, what they perceive they should get, and then what the market perceives they should get. They got a 70% increase for NXT, which obviously is good. They got 40% for SmackDown, but they lost a little bit of visibility because they're going from Fox to USA. Will they take more of the profit? And we've talked about this before. If Amazon Prime is willing to give them a 50% increase, do they look at that and like, hey, this is a better deal than remaining on USA, where maybe they only get a 20% increase? Do they take the money up front, but you're possibly losing visibility being on Prime compared to cable? Like it just depends on what they want. Yeah, I think the NBA is gonna affect a lot of this. It's gonna affect how much they're willing to spend on these other profits. I've always believed that AEW will remain with Warner Brothers just because that relationship seems strong. But I also think Tony and AEW would be a little foolish not to see what else is out there. Like that's just business, right? You can have a good relationship with these companies, these brands and everything, but like you at least want to see if there's other offers out there and see what they're willing to offer and then bring that back and be like, hey, and maybe, you know, Tony said loyalty, Kendrick Lamar. Like maybe he does value that. And he's like, yeah, you know what? We'll take the 10% increase that Warner Brothers is giving us instead of a 20% increase that USA might give us just because of loyalty. Like that's very possible, but you still got to see what's out there.
Raw on CBS. Let's go. Do a Price is Right tie-in. Oh my God.
That would be great, actually.
That would be great.
All for that.
WWE Hall of Famer Drew Carey.
They got Paramount. CBS does have Paramount. They could stream on Paramount. You know, they stream football games on Paramount. So it's not impossible that comes to fruition.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be all for it. But I don't know. I'm looking forward, but I'm looking forward to seeing where Raw lands. But I agree with you. It's going to come down to NBA rights. It just is. And for me, the interest is more in how much money they're going to get for it, because that's going to create some opportunities for some people and for some things.
See, I don't care about how much money they get, because like they're gonna do what they do with the money anyway. And unfortunately, it's not always like give that to the wrestlers. So
no, you give it to a Saudi prince and then you go have another show. Yeah. Actually, I guess the Saudi prince gives it to you, and then that's how that goes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, you know, if they get good money off of it, they're going to get an increase regardless. It's just a matter of how much and from who they end up getting from. I care more in the case here, because I don't know what it is of where they're going to end up, and do they move nights? That's the most intriguing thing to me. Is, you know, Ari, Nick Khan both kind of saying like, we're flexible with the schedule. And so is it possible that any of this stuff moves nights? And it's not like we haven't seen. Raw has certainly been on Monday for decades now. SmackDown's been on every night of the week, I feel like, except Mondays. Otherwise, they've been on just about every night. NXT was on Wednesday. Now it's Tuesday. Could that move? Could a move from one of these shows mitigate a move for Dynamite or Collision? Like, does that change? I know, like, you know, Jimmy, after the Collision rating came out yesterday, he was like, oh, the night's not good. Like, you got to move nights and everything. I don't know if that is the case, but like, I understand where Jimmy is kind of coming from, but it's like, okay, where are you moving it to?
There's even more data, by the way, that I think some people are looking past, and that's the fact that they were on after another PLE. Yes, it was earlier in the day, but some people are just like, one and done. I'm wrestled out. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my day, and I'm not going to go think about wrestling until maybe I'll DVR, watch it later, or catch it, whatever. But yeah, I think some people, because, and by the way, like if you look back at the numbers from Collision after Money in the Bank, which was another afternoon into the evening PLE, same thing. Every time there's a PLE for WWE on the same night as a Collision, the number drops, and there's a reason for that. We talked about, you know, the NXT and AEW Dynamite numbers on the same night. It wasn't about who was going to win the night. It was, again, the same 1.5 million people watching wrestling, because that's what it comes down to. It all adds up to about the same amount of people. So that's, again, something that we think about.
I am interested. So I was thinking about this yesterday after the Collision ratings came out. Like, whatever, the numbers are the numbers. They're obviously against apparently MLW just released a bunch of people. I actually got to check in on what happened here.
I saw that Arez asked for his.
Yeah, apparently they actually released people. I'm looking at the MLW tweet. MLW notified AAA in May that both Arez and Aramis were released from their MLW contracts, as AAA is a co-signee on both contracts. AAA confirmed they would relay this to the talent at the time. Evidently, they did not. We wish Aramis and Arez the best for the future. Apparently, they got released in May, and I don't know. You know, like, yeah. Who knows what?
Hold on. Isn't MLW about to enter a deal with CMLL as a partnership, or did they add, or is it AAA?
No, I think it is. No, isn't it AAA? Hold on.
Yeah,
it was MLW, New Japan. It is CMLL.
So all these AAA guys were just like, they probably said get him out of there if they're going to do a deal with CMLL. Yeah. So it just sounds like somebody dropped the ball. The MLW is saying on the AAA side, but like, who knows? Yeah. Now I'm going to get a DM being like, do you listen to my podcast? And then it's game over from here.
As far as like the collision stuff, like Saturdays, they're always going to be up against college football during the college football season. They're going to start being up against the NBA in February, I believe, when maybe even as early as January, because when college football ends, NBA has a primetime Saturday night game. So that's something that people can look forward to debating and discussing when the NBA does their primetime Saturday night games. Once in NBA's out of season, which isn't until June, if you're talking playoffs, then Collision will have a little bit of free time unto itself. But yeah, the big factor is WWE, right? Anytime there's a WWE NXT premium live event, that's what cuts into it, whether it's day of or immediate or head to head with it. So here's what I was thinking. When does WWE decide they are going to, and they've done this before, mind you, Kenny Omega's infamous, "Oh, you're running against a charity show" tweet. When does WWE decide that they're going to run just any old thing on Saturday, whether it be Saturday afternoon, Saturday night? When do they decide, hey, Saturday night's main event, live event, streaming live on Peacock?
It's happening. It's going to happen. It's been announced that it's going to happen. That's part of the new deal with USA, right? That they're going
That's
to
only four quarterly specials.
But the point is, this is something that they're going to run up against, and the numbers are going to be absurdly one-sided because they will more than likely air on NBC. So these are going to
they
be,
are airing on NBC.
They are. You're right. Oh yeah, it was in the press release. Yeah. So they're going to air on NBC, and as a result, yeah, it's going to go up against Collision, and then AEW is going to have to decide if that's. I don't think that that's going to do anything. In terms of, I think Tony's going to be like, oh God, not this again. But they're not going to punt. They're just going to do their show, and they're going to hope that people catch the replay or catch whatever they find on socials, and hopefully they tie it together by the time Dynamite comes around that Wednesday. That's all. That's basically how I feel about it. They're going to be annoyed by it, but there's not much they can do about it.
Well, this is where the discussion of can you get it on a different day? Can you do a Thursday show? If SmackDown moves to a Thursday, can you move Collision to Saturday? Or can you move Collision to Friday? Sorry. And move Rampage to Saturday at 10 o'clock. Yeah, you mentioned that next year, there's going to be 4 of the NBC specials. Like, sure. Why did our viewership drop to like 32 and then jump back up to 81? What happened?
Probably your internet.
Oh,
that great Ohio internet.
Yeah, that's fair. It was weird. 50 people just decided, I'm not for that. And then they all just decided, actually,
they got the MLW news and then they dipped.
Yeah, they did.
Came right back.
So like, yeah, so that's 4 times a year, sure. But I'm saying like before that, because that's not until next year. That's not until next October. Before that, did they decide of, hey, we're going to run whatever it might be on Peacock? Like, I don't know. I think it's something to think about because they get the data like anybody else, and they get the data that when they run shows, when they run premium live events, Collision viewership drops.
Could you repeat the last part again?
Okay, is my internet not good?
No. You're perfectly fine. I was trying to think my point through, and then I dropped it for a second, so I'm asking you to record it. Yeah, repeat it again.
Okay, WWE gets the data that when they run their premium live events, Collision viewership drops. So do they decide, hey, we can run any old thing, spruce it up with a main roster talent or two, and then we can affect Collision in this way? We can run NXT Level Up on a Saturday afternoon. NXT Level Up featuring Seth Rollins defending the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Braun Breaker. And then just
Saturday night
go on like that. That's it. Like, do they decide to do that? I don't put it past them.
I don't, but I don't think that they have a reason to put those trucks on the road and put those people out there unless you're, and again,
isn't it just, you're just running performance center shit. Like,
and again, then you got to fill the performance center. There's still a logistics team that goes into this. Like, is it worth doing it just to stick it to AEW on a Saturday night. I know. Some people will say yes, and some people will say like, there is data there that makes sense for WWE to be like, yeah, listen, we run a PLE and the collision numbers drop. That should be enough though. But that shouldn't be enough for them to be like, let's do it every week, because that they're going to create a war that they don't need to create. That's really what it is. Why? Because that all you're going to do is cause that David and Goliath tribalism bullshit again, and now you're going to be forcing to. And again, if you are, I'm speaking solely from like the WWE. If I'm in the boardroom type of conversation, this isn't how I really would feel. I wouldn't start that war, because now I'm poking the bear, and when the bear gets poked, the bear might start booking stronger shows, and then I have to really, I have to keep up with the bear, or the bears keep up with me. Is the competition worth
The Bears
doing
suck.
this? The bears do suck,
We've
but
established that.
unfortunately, yeah, exactly. Well, you put a bunch of cocaine in the bear, and then suddenly the bears are a lot more entertaining. The point is, and that's not a reference.
Is there burnout? Does it lead to burnout? Because
it could.
Yeah.
This is why I would be like, don't do it. Don't do it. I don't think you're gonna burn out AEW. I think you're gonna potentially create more competition and more raw, which is fine to a certain degree. But the point is, on all this is, do you want to poke the bear? Is it worth poking the bear?
Are they poking the bear?
I think they are. If
they're the bear, they see themselves as the bear.
You're right, but does the bear want to poke David? Great, now it's David and the bear. It's no longer David and Goliath.
I think the bear does. The bear.
The bear good. The bear's bad. That is the point.
The bear is good, by the way. Fantastic show.
Yeah. Yes, but the idea here is that I don't see the reason for WWE to do it, because at least on a regular basis, because they're about to be doing it, definitely once a month, and then starting next year, an additional 4 times per year. So that's good enough. At least in my eyes, that would be good enough. If WWE was okay, if they really, 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 really wanted to like shit kick AEW, then they would do it. But I don't see a reason why you'd want to go weekly, because they already made their point. Like WWE already made their point. Again, numbers non-specific. The WWE line is that AEW is only as good as NXT. It is not as good as our main roster. And the week that we beat them on that Tuesday, we brought most of our main roster down for it.
But I'm with you that they won't do it, most likely. Maybe, who knows? That they won't do it, because if you look at it now, NXT runs roughly every 5 to 6 weeks, premium live events, right? Like they're running premium live events every about 5 to 6 weeks. You're running your monthly specials with main roster stuff. And then, beginning next October, you're tacking on 4 more to that. So roughly out of any given month, you're already running two Saturdays out of that. Maybe 3 on some months beginning next year. So you're already cutting into them enough. Again, WWE, are they like, yeah, we're happy with that? Or do they look for other means? It might even be illegit. I don't know logistics of all this. I know like their house show stuff. They tape a lot of that stuff anyway. How difficult is it to just stream it?
This is the thing though. Go back and watch what Impact did for their UK tour. That's how it looks when you film a house show, and you add some lighting and little, things here and there. And when WWE, when they tape their house shows, it's mostly for insurance purposes.
Yeah.
And they have to then bring in a full crew, do a full lighting rig. Like there would be enhancements made for them to do it. There are certain people, myself included, that would be like, yeah, sure, show me 1 camera house show footage. I'll watch that for however many hours, because wrestling. Throw some Michael Cole, on a bender at 3 a.m. commentary on it, and we're gonna have a good time. But instead, that's not what they're gonna do. And I don't think they want to start putting in the means to do production, because then you got to bring in the trucks, you got to bring in all of the people that make the television show happen. Suddenly they have to start coming to TV, or coming to house shows. And I don't think that is something that is worthwhile in the long run for WWE.
Okay, so maybe it's not that. This goes back to another point I kind of sort of made when it came to Evolve of what if you get indie show number 1 and that's already streaming on Fight, but now you got a partnership with them and you stream it on the Peacock if possible, and it's like, hey, here's Seth Rollins coming to this indie show, and you just stream it there. You partner up with some company, some indie promotion, because they're out there, and I know maybe some of them won't. There's some that will, and they're like, yeah, sure, we'd love to have this kind of partnership with WWE. Yeah, sure, Saturday night, we'd love to have Seth come down. We'd love to have Drew come here. And then you get a bump off of that, and then people are just watching that, and it just cuts into Collision.
Okay, but only if Joey Janela's involved.
That would be fantastic if they partner with GCW. Could you imagine a WWE? Brett Lauderdale loves to joke about that. Could you imagine a GCW WWE partnership? That would rule. GCW on Peacock.
Did you have to cover the 10th anniversary Evolve show when it ran against AEW?
No, my grandmother was passing away during all of that.
Sorry. I picked the best possible example. I'm sorry, buddy.
I didn't watch like either of those shows live, so no, I did not cover that stuff.
Either way, my point really was that it's happened. Evolve had to put a lot into, well, WWE helped Evolve put a lot into that show and make it more presentable for the streaming that they were going to do for it. And that's something that WWE would have to do. Who would do that? I don't know who they would partner with. There's nobody out there that makes perfect sense. There's nobody big enough on the independents that would be willing to do it. That would make sense. Unless Wrestling Revolver and Sammy suddenly want to do some work.
That would rule. That would rule if Revolver. And that's the thing. Like AEW's cultivated a good relationship with a lot of these indies to where, hey, maybe they don't want to step on that, but like WWE comes offering, you never know.
Of course. Know. Money will change a lot of minds. I've been having different conversations with different promotion owners just about like how they put together their shows and like the budgeting and things like that. And yeah, it's shoestring for a lot of them. So I respect the hustle. I really do. I hope that a lot more get a lot more money because they deserve it to do this job. It's tough. Anyway, but okay, you look like you were going to add something. The last thing I want to add before we move on is actually going back to the CW NXT thing. Someone in the comments on Fightful Select actually said, was the NWA a standby if NXT had fallen through? And I think that's a really good point to think about, is maybe the news about NWA showing up on CW, that was kind of just the fallback plan.
Then Billy should have not said anything.
He should have kept his damn mouth shut. You go to hell, Nick Hausman. You go to hell.
He should have not said we've signed 2 deals. I think that's kind of not great business. If I look, this is all way above my pay grade. But if you've actually signed the deals, though, and then it's like, yeah, we've signed it, but only on this condition. I don't know if things can work like that. Maybe Billy said they were signed. Like he said they were signed, and maybe Billy misspoke. Maybe Billy misunderstood, and he just tried to hype it what he was going to hype it as. Like it's possible. It's very possible as a standby. But I think PWI said that like they were negotiating with Championship Wrestling. Not Alex Marvez. What's his name? David Marquez. Yeah, David Marquez's promotion, which used to have kind of ties with the NWA. But I think that's what PWI
Wrestling Network.
Yeah. So I think that's what PWI said, is that they were talking with Championship Wrestling and not NWA. I feel like some signals and just a lot of stuff got crossed or needed to be waited on, and then people spoke when maybe they shouldn't have spoken, and did cocaine to celebrate when they shouldn't have done cocaine to celebrate.
That's why you don't give the father, you give him karaoke, not cocaine.
He's good at karaoke.
He is. Yeah.
He's really
Many
good
stories have been told about his experiences doing karaoke.
Do you think Jim Mitchell will come on our show? I'd love to have him.
Over the last week, if he's watched any of our shows, no. If he wants to have never watched any of our programming and wants to join us, absolutely.
Why wouldn't he have over the last week? I've done nothing but celebrate NWA over the last week. I was the flag bearing for NWA, and then they screwed it all up. Here comes big bad WWE, the bully, the bear. They just ruined my National Wrestling Alliance, my NWA on CW. I'm not happy with WWE.
WrestleVote's saying that on the heels of the CW announcement, they're told discussions have taken place about the Stand and Deliver pay-per-view PLE scheduled for WrestleMania weekend and the discussion of the placement of the show. Sources state there is support for the show to, quote, open the weekend and be held on Thursday nights at Wells Fargo. It's they say, I was told while it makes sense to some, it's not ideal for others, quote unquote. And then we'll see how it turns out. So there you go. Talk about that PLE being a Thursday night.
So you got NXT on Thursday, SmackDown on Friday, and then 2 nights of WrestleMania. Indie shows are going to be really hurting if that's the case. Because
Collective is, I mean, this is the, I know we're going to talk about this come April and March. This is always the toughest part about Mania weekend is that I think for so long, WWE was like, just cool with WrestleMania being the featured attraction for their time in the city. Now that there are site fees, now that there are people coming in, now it's WWE's trying their best to make wherever they are for that week WWE town. They want you to be at every WWE event. They don't want you to go to the Collective. They don't want you to go to the indie dates. They just want you at those WWE specific shows. And it's tough, man. There aren't a lot of people who come in for WrestleMania and then the indies. A lot of them are coming in for WrestleMania and all the other WWE programming that's around.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought you were going to say WrestleMania and the indies. Like the majority of people that travel to these destinations are going there for WrestleMania. Like most of these people, like the indies run that weekend because there are so many wrestling fans there. And they're like, oh, yeah, there's going to be 80,000 wrestling fans at one spot. Yeah, let me try to get some publicity out of this.
And by the way, I don't think it's diabolical at all. None of us can talk on Wednesday mornings or Friday mornings or Monday mornings, but I don't think it's diabolical. I think that's just the business. That is business, period. You are the town running the shows. And there are other shows that are kind of attaching on to you. And I understand that people are going to have their favorites. That's fine. But like anyone would do this the same way because this is the big top comes to town, you're going to see the big top. You don't want to let other people go see the other shows when they're there for the big top. That's just kind of where it is. It's their marquee event. It is smart business to have you come to as many events that they're running as humanly possible and get as much money and as much output for the input that you possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, it's their weekend. I know like the AEW or not AEW doesn't run on those shows. ROH does now. But the indie shows are there because WWE is there. Like that's what it comes down to. If WWE is not there, you don't get the Collective. You don't get all of these other shows. I guess that frees up Saturday afternoon now if anybody wants to run there until WWE throws something on that Hall of Fame ceremony Saturday afternoon.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
Hillbilly Jim's gonna approach the dais and he's not gonna talk until those jets fly over and they're singing "America the Beautiful."
Look, if anything, like
by the way, sorry, chat. It is just business. Stop trying to make wrestling a personal thing. It is just business. You're going to go, you're paying your money to go to the shows. You're showing up to these shows. You're supporting the business. You are giving your money. You're supporting the business. You buy merch. You're supporting business. That's just the way it's going to be. Business is all about being the best. It's not about sharing and being friends. There's an aspect of that, but it's not the overall encompassing reason for business. The sooner you remind yourself of that, the sooner you stop wanting billionaires to succeed.
It's also not just like WWE business. Like there are about 5 million independent shows that run during that weekend, and some of them overlap as well. Are we going to get mad at those as well? Like, oh, how can GCW run when Freelance is running this one because freelance, like IWTV and GCW stuff, like IWTV has their own little gimmick that they do, which runs kind of against the collective a lot of times. Most of the time, there's like 2 shows going on at once during these weekends. Like it's all gonna overlap with each other. So if you're gonna, I understand it's easy to get mad at WWE for this, but this was the complaint with these indie shows this past year is there's too many indie shows running and it just all feels like dream match stuff of like, cool, here's a big dream match, here's a big dream match. Well, but like everybody gets burnt out on this stuff. So that's what it is. Yeah, like the indies guys get a ton of exposure, money on those weekends. Like that's for a lot of those guys, that's their biggest weekend, and that weekend doesn't exist without WWE. It's just that's the way it is. If you want maybe the indies should get together and decide, hey, we're gonna do our own big independent weekend, and that isn't attached to WWE, that isn't attached to AEW, and this is going to be our weekend, and we're gonna just put out 3 days worth of content. Worse, I'll go ahead and tease this a little bit because I trust this person. Famous last words. What?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, okay. I'll tease a little bit. We got a top independent name scheduled to join the show on Friday. Okay. And I'm talking very top, who makes money, who does very well for himself on the independent scene.
And let's be honest, a name that people will know, and people do know.
Yes, big part of the collective. On top of this, I feel like everybody understands, who I'm talking about at this point. If you don't, you'll hopefully find out on Friday. Makes money on the collective, big part of the collective, big part of the independent scene. We'll ask them about this stuff of like, have the independents ever thought of just doing their own day attached from WrestleMania? Do you agree with like WWE trying to run this? So you gotta run run against all of this stuff. Because here's the thing, the collective does run. They did like an October collective one time, but I think those are like a September. That was attached to the AEW, wasn't it? Or no?
That was also because of the COVID stuff. It was post-COVID or just as restrictions were being lifted. I think that was 2021. Yeah.
That was because of COVID. I feel like they've tried to do they've tried to do stuff away from they do a collective for All Out. Yeah, they do some big thing. But again, they usually attach themselves to this because they know wrestling fans are there. So it just makes sense for them to do it that way. That's why it makes sense for them to run all of this stuff during WWE. And it makes sense for WWE to schedule their stuff how they want to schedule their stuff to try to give the best for their fans instead of, hey, Saturday you got to do NXT and then come to WrestleMania. It makes better sense for WWE of like, hey, Thursday, if you're here, come to NXT. So I don't have an issue with any of it. I gotta cover all the shit anyway.
I was gonna say my TNA show that week just got blown sky high. If that's the way it goes,
that's true. Like it does. I understand from a fan perspective. Like it's a lot to watch. It's a lot to keep up with. Like I get it. I completely get it. And like, especially if you're there, it's like, oh, I got to go here. I got to go there. Do I want to see this show? Oh, I don't want to miss this show. But like, again, it's not just WWE running these shows. Like a bunch of indie shows run at the same time. So you got to pick and choose.
So I see Jeff Alley Driver in the chat. Again, we can't talk on Wednesdays, on Mondays, and Fridays. And he's saying no one's forcing you to go to 8 shows in one day. If you get burnt out, that's kind of on you. And this is a long-standing like pro wrestling conversation that I tell people all the time. It's like, you don't need to watch everything on WWE, everything on AEW, everything on Ring of Honor. You don't need to watch TNA. You don't need to watch Impact, or Impact is TNA, but you don't need to watch WWE. Like, you don't need to watch every televised wrestling event. You can take a break. You can pick and choose. And when you get burnt out, I know it's a little different for people who cover the business. It's different. It is a little different for us. And that's the problem with the content creators, is that we don't force ourselves, but like our general outlook is that we are trying to be as well versed on the topics as we can. We get as much as we can, but when you burn yourself out, you're not a fan anymore. You're just kind of doing yourself a disservice. And I see it, some people say I need to take a step back. That's fine, take a step back. But I would even argue that find the shows you're not enjoying, step back. If you don't enjoy what WWE is doing, the best part about WWE, and Steven Jensen has said this multiple times because he's one of these people, is that you can step right in the middle of a PLE cycle and you'll know what's going on because their video packages will catch you right up. You could have ignored everything. That's Jensen, though.
Jensen fucking rules. So here's a spoiler for people. We got Muscle Man Malcolm in the creators spotlight tomorrow. Malcolm's great, dude. Yes. Malcolm, people who don't know Malcolm, big Omos fan, big Homo sapien. And Jensen just asked him, he's like, what's Omos doing on WWE now? Is he doing okay? Like, Jensen has not watched this shit. And so he had no idea what Omos was doing. If it ain't Cody, Jensen has no idea what's going on in the WWE universe. Maybe Logan now, but like, yeah, Jensen's just like, hey, doing okay? Omos seems cool. Big dude. How's he doing? Yeah, he ain't been on TV since like the night after Mania when Vince forced him to wrestle when he didn't think he was going to.
That's so funny. Oh, poor Omos. He's so big. Didn't he just get married like a few months ago?
Sure.
I don't know. I just remember everyone was in awe because like he's so tall, and I think his partner is like not just as tall, but like also a very tall person. May have been a basketball player or something like that, or a volleyball player. Regardless, another athlete, and I was just like, good-looking couple, very good-looking people. But yeah, that was poor Malcolm.
Malcolm buried a bunch of people yesterday, or it'll air tomorrow. But buried Sean, buried LJ, buried Samira, Chris Van Vliet, John Alba, buried all of them. Fantastic. Love Malcolm.
God bless. Did anyone remind him of the time he was supposed to do a post show for us and he was really, really, really late because he had to run across campus at the time to get back to his computer?
I didn't know that story. I would have mentioned it, but I didn't know it.
I think it was maybe a Money in the Bank. If you go back on Fightful, like there's a show that Malcolm was doing a review of with Sean. And he was just super late. And I'll never forget, like, there was a group chat being like, can someone be on standby just in case this guy doesn't show up? And it just turned out that, like, he was watching it with a bunch of friends and he had to, like, book it across campus to get back in time.
Amazing.
That was, like, my first introduction to Malcolm. And I was just, at the time, I was like, well, that's not very professional. And then I was like, then again, he's on campus. He's very clearly a student. He's, like, he messed up and he's fine. He does really great work. I got to put him over. So go check that review out tomorrow.
Yeah, Malcolm's great.
It's good stuff. WarGames?
WarGames.
Got that face paint. They're going to do that fall brawl WarGames effect. Dusty in the war paint. Sun is in the war paint.
Cody is 1,000,000% showing up in the face paint and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Kids are going to be painting their faces too.
Yeah. We talked about it on this show when it looked like they were setting up WarGames, but like they hadn't announced WarGames. Like they just announced that WarGames was an official thing on Saturday, and then they made the match official on Monday. But it was pretty clear they were setting up. It was pretty clear they were setting up like a WarGames match. And I said it on this show. I was like, Cody is pushing for this shit. Because he didn't get to do it last year. He never got to do it in AEW. This was like, there's that BTE clip. I'm pretty sure it's BTE of the before the first Blood and Guts when like the cage is there and Cody's like on top of the cage and like seeing how it feels. And he's like, you can tell he just wants to be part of this match so bad because he was supposed to be part of the original Blood and Guts. And then the pandemic happened that screwed it all up. And then they had to pivot to not the Elite being in that match. But like he wants to be part of WarGames so bad and he couldn't do it. And so this year it looked like it was setting up. And I'm like, look, they haven't officially announced this. Even when they announced Survivor Series in July, it was not part of the press release thing. Like, nah, Cody's pushing for this. He's so excited to get on that poster. You know it. Bless him. Good on Cody. He got this match. He is going to make sure this match is a hit. He's going to certainly make sure he's remembered in this match. He's going to have the face paint. He's going to make sure Sammy has the face paint and Jay has the face paint and Seth has the face paint. Like, yeah, he's going to bleed. He's going to bleed if he can. Like, he's going to do it. Big stalker vibes though. Shout out Barry Windham. Big stalker vibes with that face paint.
So we've got right now it's a 4-on-4. We're expecting there's going to be a third or fifth man on either side.
I don't know. I
You
think
don't?
this is it. No.
Do you? Okay. I
You
mean,
think
they haven't
Drew?
done it.
You're thinking Drew in some way.
Yeah, I think Drew and Randy get into it in some way. I think maybe
Ooh.
Drew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do a double turn as well. You can have Drew come in and join team Seth, Cody, Jay, and Sammy, and then have Randy join with the Judgment Day. Just come in as a heel, or you can actually the other way around. You know, basically a whose side are they on type of thing. Go ahead.
Fake Drew McIntyre.
Let's
we have
go.
the Judgment Day recruiting Drew McIntyre. We get fake Drew McIntyre, and all the baby faces like, how could you do this, Drew? How could you do this? And then Drew comes out during WarGames and he Claymore kicks everybody's like, I told you not to doubt me. I told you this is on you. And then the Judgment Day still wins. It's fake Sting all over again, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
Who could be fake Drew McIntyre?
Kane.
Who on the active roster could be fake Drew McIntyre?
Gallows.
Who has hair and could be fake Drew McIntyre? Oh my God, it's Cameron Grimes. He's just short.
Bro. It'd be amazing if they tried to have it as Cameron Grimes. It's Drew. It's Drew. It's like, when did Drew shrink? What happens here? Like, don't worry, guys. It's Drew. It's actually Drew. Who's a Braun? They brought back Snitsky in the weeds. Guess Snitsky was backstage doing a segment with Chelsea Green,
taking photos with Natty, having the time of his life.
Can Snitsky do a Scottish? I said British. Can Snitsky do a Scottish accent?
No, but that's what makes it funny. It ain't my fault.
Elias
is perfect. Yeah. Hey, listen, they brought back Heath once upon a time during the pandemic after they fired him. Gave him a bag and said, hey, go talk to your pal Drew. You could do that. Who else could do it? I'm just looking at the roster up and down.
I don't think anybody can like replicate Drew McIntyre. You don't have to look at the active roster. You got to look outside of wrestling.
I know. You look at if one of the Coffee brothers could do it. Joe or Mark.
Okay, maybe.
He'd be big enough. Zion Quinn, if you put a wig on him. He's big.
Nah, you got to look outside. You got to look outside of WWE, because if it's a WWE person, people are gonna be like, hey, wait, look, people are gonna know regardless, but you got to go outside of WWE and to get the fake Drew McIntyre.
Screw McIntyre.
Lance Archer.
Lance Archer, there you go.
Right. Is he wrestling tonight? He's wrestling.
Yeah, he's probably wrestling. He's back in the fold.
Oh.
I don't actually think he's wrestling tonight.
No, I think he is.
He's on Next Collision because they're doing the 8-man tag.
Right.
Which is another conversation.
It's a 6-man. It's a 6-man.
Is it 6-man? I thought it was an 8-man.
It's Righteous and Lance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Darby and Sting take on the Outrunners tonight. We'll do the rundown soon enough. But yeah, so WarGames is back. I do think that they'll bring back. I think they'll do a 5th man. It'll be Randy and Drew, and maybe maybe the Drew turn happens going into WarGames, or maybe there's a double turn coming out of it. Maybe Randy is, I don't know. I feel like Randy coming back is it's a babyface thing. It feels like he's coming in as
I think Randy's coming in as a babyface as well.
And then he turns on his team and doesn't join Judgment Day, but he goes after Seth Rollins. And you can do Seth and Randy going into the Rumble season.
So Drew joins with Judgment Day. He's part of the Judgment Day team.
That's the problem, is that he could say yes, and maybe because, again, we're talking double turn. Yeah, Drew just comes back and says, forget this team, goes after Randy after he turns on Seth. So basically nothing comes out of this.
What are you doing here, Joel?
So here's the big problem. You bring in Seth. I'm looking at names. You bring in Randy. Okay. Randy will get cheered automatically.
Yes.
Legacy Pop, he's been off TV for a while. People are looking forward to seeing him. The hype is there. He's going to get cheered. You got to put him on the babyface team.
Okay.
Drew's got to do something to solidify him as picking a side. And he doesn't want to pick Drew doesn't want to pick the Seth Rollins side because he's not happy that he lost, to Seth at Crown Jewel.
Okay.
And you had the Judgment Day approaching him multiple times and be like, Drew, grass is greener. So we've recruited him. Maybe that's when he says, all right, I'll do it. And then you have Randy turning on his team. That effectively kind of cancels him out. And then you can potentially have Drew being like, no, forget it. I don't want to be a part of this team. I don't like Judgment Day. This is garbage. And then rejoining or helping to solidify that he's a babyface by helping Seth and co beat the Judgment Day.
Yeah,
I know.
Doing too much.
You gotta turn Randy. That's the thing. You
don't have to.
I think you do.
You're making this a thing of like, you don't have to turn Randy.
Randy is much more effective as a heel. He just is. And like, I don't think anyone's going to fight me on that unless you pair him up with a pothead with problems.
He is more effective as a heel, but you don't have to turn Randy in this scenario. Like, I think I do like the effectiveness of a Randy turn, like on Seth and costing the team in that way. And then Drew, I think Drew can just exist, but I think Drew should also probably turn at this point. Like, I think Drew's kind of done with the babyface stuff, but I don't like him in Judgment Day. I don't think that's a thing that needs to happen.
He wouldn't be in Judgment Day. He'd just be joining that team because he's, filling out the role or whatever.
Okay, so here's kind of, I don't think Drew needs to do any type of turn. I think Drew could just be part of Judgment Day and be part of the team. Randy does the turn, and then Drew wins with Judgment Day. Then next night on Raw, like, Judgment Day's all happy, of like, we run Raw, blah, 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 type of thing. And Drew is just like, no, I'm not like part of this. I'm not a part of your system. Like, I wanted to make my presence felt, but like, I'm not part of your group, type of thing. Like, I don't think there needs to be like an effective turn. Yeah. I don't think he needs to be like an effective turn. Now, Randy's not back. This is all speculating. Like, I don't know what the deal is with Randy. If he's going to be back for, I think it's going to be 4-on-4, mind you. I think it's going to be 4-on-4, but I like the thought of Randy being for this and then Drew getting him involved. Because otherwise, I don't know where Drew, maybe he doesn't fit at Survivor Series. Maybe he chills for a while, and who knows? I don't know what the contract situation is still. So, we'll see.
The last year's WarGames was 5-on-5. And then NXT has ran a bunch of 4-on-4, except for the first NXT one was 5-on-5. And then afterwards, it was a bunch of 4-on-4. So it comes and goes. Team Ciampa was 1, 2, 3, 4-on-4 because it was always Undisputed Era. But since it's come back to main roster, it's been 5-on-5 on both men's and women's teams.
So the 1 year of evidence that you have.
Chucky Ducky saying, watching the intro.
I don't remember the joke.
He had binary code on his profile.
Yeah. Okay. So Joel has 1 year of evidence that this is a 5-on-5 match.
Well, I mean, I also have like WCW evidence that it was a 5-on-5 match, but
you've also got WCW evidence as 4-on-4
and 3-on-3-on-3 in the NWA back in the day before cocaine was actually on the screens.
Yeah. So like, it can be whatever they want it to be. There's no, hey, we've done it this way every single year, so we're going to do it. No, I think I'm of the belief it's going to be 4-on-4. And until I see otherwise, I'm going to go with that. We shall see. Again, there are people to add there that makes sense. I mean, Drew and Randy are the top two if Randy is healthy. That is the rumor, but we don't know that yet.
We will see. There's a lot of hoping that Randy is available for the Survivor Series. And if he is, I'd like to see him in WarGames.
And if he is, yeah, because he doesn't have to work too hard on that. He'd come in last and just run wild.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Now, this is the more interesting one. I think we're going to get a traditional 5-on-5 brand supremacy. Not WarGames, a traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. Team Raw, Team SmackDown. And I mentioned this while football was on, so I specifically tried to keep it away from the masses. The idea that you have Team Pierce and Team Aldis, and the winning team gets put into a potential fatal 5 or some sort of matchup. Maybe the members who survive are going to face off for number 1 contendership for the world championship. And this is where I was thinking, do you want to make it that if Team Raw wins, then they go for the number 1 contendership of Roman Reigns' title, or if Team SmackDown wins, they go after Seth's title, or brand specific, Team Raw wins, they go after Seth, Team SmackDown goes after Roman Reigns for number 1 contendership.
I don't want to say. Is this for WarGames?
No, I'm saying the separate Team Aldis, Team Pierce. It feels like they're going to do a 5-on-5, 5 guys that are up and coming. You're going to try and find a world championship contender out of this. Some stakes to a traditional 5-on-5, non-war games, just the men's traditional Survivor Series match. Team Aldis, Team Pierce. KO's on one team. Again, I put out Karrion Kross because they're supposed to be factoring him in. Just building Team SmackDown and then build a Team Raw. Again, some who are in the Intercontinental Championship division, trying to build them up into the world title division. You use some of those people, and it's your mid-card 5-on-5.
I'm not mad at it. I can see that. You get more people on the show. We have the little rivalry between Aldis and Pierce. This would be the time to do it. Survivor Series, because brand supremacy, blah, blah, blah. I actually kind of like that better on the women's side, not doing war games though. Or if you are going to do war games, at least like, because there's no real women's story for war games, right? There's just not. Like
it's EO keeps having damage control get involved in her matches, even though EO says don't get involved in my matches.
Yeah, but there's only 3 in damage control. I mean, I guess you can do 3. You can do Bianca, Charlotte, Shotzi against EO, Bailey, Kyrie, and there's your war games match. But
you could add Asuka if she's going to join one side or the other. There's another person. You could do at least 4-on-4.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about the only real story that you could throw in there. Asuka would have to, unless she turns, obviously, because right now she's more on the she's against damage control. Dakota's obviously not going to be healthy, so she can't slot in there. I don't know if Bailey has any other friends. They seem to attack everybody. Yeah, I don't know what you do there. I do think that you can do an Aldis versus Pierce gimmick for that, and if you want to throw war games, attach it to that, just because equality, you can do that. But I do like the idea of having a traditional Survivor Series match, whether it be the men's or the women, and having it do something with Pierce and Aldis to kind of show the rivalry between Raw and SmackDown.
And it would be that one night where these guys all get along because they know that there's an opportunity for a world title match if you win. So it's like you put, let's say, I just threw together KO, Jimmy Uso, Karrion Kross, Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee. You can even take out Jimmy Uso and replace him with like Bobby Lashley. So let's say it's those guys. Those 5 are all like, no, we hate each other, but we love the opportunity at facing a world champion. So let's just get through this. And I think that would create some really fun, tense moments for the next couple of weeks leading into this. Team Pierce, I don't know who would be the Raw people. I don't.
Gargano, Ciampa, Kaiser,
Bronson Reed,
and Chad Gable.
Gable, maybe. Ricochet. They would do Ricochet. They would.
Chad Gable.
Sammy. No, Sammy's in the thing, right?
Yeah, Sammy's in work.
Nakamura for sure. They would put in that one.
Chad Gable.
And I have Chad Gable. I have Reed, Ricochet, Gable, Nakamura, and
I said Gargano and Ciampa.
I don't want to do Gargano. I'd do Ludwig Kaiser if anything. Those are the ones I would have.
Yeah, you can do Raw versus SmackDown women 5-on-5. I think it kind of makes more sense as a women's thing, because like I think you're gonna get more women on this show, because right now you only have the Rhea and Zoe Stark match. So what else are you getting on the women's side on this show? We're not getting a world title match on the show, seemingly.
Neither Chettles.
Yeah, Seth is in War Games, and Roman is chilling. So bless.
Good for him. He deserves it.
Yeah. So yeah, we're not getting a women's or a world title match on this show. Oh, dude, they could get Bad Bunny. The rule is Logan on this show.
They could build to Logan. They could do Logan and Ray too. I think the idea was to have Logan on the show. You can do Logan and Santos in a US title match as a grudge match.
Are you gonna turn Santos again, Joel? You just like turning people.
Yeah, we're just gonna turn
regular
everybody.
Vince Russo over here.
Yeah, exactly, bro. We're just gonna turn everybody, bro, until we get our point, bro, that everyone needs to turn, bro. Sorry, now I'm doing DDP. The women's, I do think they're gonna do WarGames for the women too. I don't know how they get there. I feel like they're gonna find a way, but it'll be a little piecemeal, but I think they'll do it because the men on Raw have a WarGames. The women on SmackDown have a WarGames. It's basically like you're doing the opposite so that you could get away with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and right now, like it's all Raw matches on or on Survivor Series. Like there's 3 matches announced. They're all Raw matches.
And you got the Intercontinental Championship matches, Miz and Gunther, right? So that's going to happen. That's at Survivor Series.
Yeah, that's a Raw match.
Yeah, and then the women's championship match is Rhea and Zoe Stark. That's another Raw match. So we have to assume that starting this week on SmackDown, they're going to start building to some sort of Survivor Series match, US title match, and probably WarGames. I think this will be you could do a 5-match card if you're going to do 2 WarGames matches, potentially a traditional 5-on-5, and 2 title matches.
What was Survivor Series last year? How many matches? Let's see.
Let's take a look. WarGames 2022 was a
5-match card.
5-match card because it had 2 WarGames. And
so I don't think you're going to do a traditional 5-on-5 if you're adding US title and a women's WarGames. I think they're just going to stick it at 5.
They could.
Because if you add another 5-on-5 match, that's a 30-minute match right there.
60 if you watch the 2016 Survivor Series.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing all of that.
They also could not have a Logan Paul match, but I feel like they should.
If they can get Logan, they should probably have Logan. Like, and I don't know what his schedule is, but I imagine they want to use Logan as much as possible, especially now that he's a champion.
From the interviews he gave after Saudi, he was basically like, "Yeah, I'm here for a bit." So the hope is that he is. I know he told.
What's he gonna say? Yeah, I won the title, and
well, he's a heel. He could get away with being like, "Yeah, I won, and now I'm going to go on vacation, and I'll see you at the Rumble." He could have said that, and people would have reacted how they would have reacted. But at least here he can be like, "Yeah, I won the title. Now I'm going to defend it because I got time until my next boxing match, whenever." But I don't think he has any matches on the card. I know his brother just announced one, but other than that, I don't think there's anything else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. Logan Paul and KSI versus Ray and Santos. Sounds awful.
For it. Nah, they want KSI involved. Yeah, they want KSI involved. They do. They want Jake involved if they can. They want all these guys involved.
I'm interested in seeing what they do. I do feel like it's going to be a women's WarGames match. And
I think so too at this point.
Yeah. And they'll bookend it just like last year. One match opens, the other one closes. And then I'm just looking like in terms of match times last year. Yeah, they were the WarGames matches were 40 minutes each. The United States Championship match was a triple threat. That was 15 minutes. AJ Styles.
Triple threat this year, apparently. Maybe.
Yeah. They did AJ and Finn last year.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like that was thrown on for some reason? Like for like no reason.
I don't remember that match at all.
Neither do, but it was also one of the longest matches on the card. There was a reason that they did it. But anyway, point is, they still have a few more matches.
That was when Gallows and Anderson just got back. They were trying to recruit Finn into Judgment Day, or they were trying to recruit AJ into Judgment Day. Yeah.
The OC, baby. Anyway. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Listen, Raw was pretty good this week. I sat through all 3 hours. They had a through thread. They kept me engaged. I enjoyed most of what I watched on Raw. So I'm glad that there were stakes to things.
They should have used Regal's voice when Adam Pearce screamed WarGames.
I do not disagree with you on that. That would have been
He can't appear on screen. That's the rule, or the whatever the contract was. But that's the thing. He can't be on screen, at least through this year. But they should have just had his voice. Maybe they would have gotten in trouble for that. But I don't know. That would have been hilarious if they just used his voice.
Release the contract details, Tony. Release the cuts. Anyway. Yeah, I did largely enjoy Raw. I like that they had that big brawl ending to announce WarGames. Adam Pearce being like, you want to play games? You like games? You want to play games? I like games. You want to go games? I got games. We're going to go war games. And I was like, okay, all right, buddy. We're playing enough games here. Let's go.
You're not playing these little kid games. You know?
No, never. We're playing all is fair and love and war games. That's someone's going to use that line, and it's probably Cody.
Yeah, Cody. Cody definitely used that.
There was definitely a women's war games match last year because it opened the show. That I remember. And it was actually pretty good. Bianca Belair was a standout performer, as she often is.
Charlotte's going to be in this one, and she's going to do that moonsault off the top, and then Cody's going to he's going to hit.
He'll just do the triple jump salt.
Cody's going to be so mad when Charlotte does that moonsault off the top of the cage.
Nobody does it better than #bow down. Oh my goodness.
I love Charlotte, but her moonsault clothesline just.
She tried to explain it once in an interview when I forget what it was. She tried to justify that she does the full rotation because, like, oh, wouldn't you want the rotation to like take out your opponent? It's like that's a senton, and what you're doing is not it. So maybe just stop.
Yeah, Becky came off the cage. That was Becky's first match back after the injury. Yeah.
And that was the press conference where I've mentioned a few times where Bianca and Becky sat together and both said I want Charlotte and I want to win the Rumble twice. The first time as a woman. So there you go.
Yeah, Cody's going to ask for it. He's going to jump across the rings. Cody's going to do, I'm so excited for Cody in this match. He's going to do the dumbest shit in the world. You know, he's already pitching like, Paul, let me get flaming tables. Can we do fire? Can we do blood? Can we do tacks? Can we do glass? Like, he's just pitching all this shit right now. Great. I'm so excited for Cody. Bless Cody, man. Bless him. He deserves this. After all this is what he wanted. He wanted to do the war games. He deserves all this.
After, you know what he's going to do? You know how they show the entrance of everyone like coming into the building earlier today? Cody's going to come in. He's going to have a shopping cart full of like tables and ladders and chairs being like, I'm going straight to the ring. I'm going to go put these under the ring. Nobody touch these until the show starts. These are mine. They're
not going to be able to like even show him coming in. He's going to be there before the camera people get there, just checking everything out, making sure he's going to help build this damn
building
cage.
The cage.
Yeah. He's going to help build it. Oh, so excited for Cody. And
did you ever watch they would put up live streams of like them building the cages and stuff? I know there was one time when there was an incident, but like there were so many of those streams that I would just sit in there and watch and be like, why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we watching them build a Hell in a Cell?
I never watched it, but I know they put those up. Now Cody's he's gonna 100% be part of that. Oh, bless that man. Bless Cody Rhodes. The American Nightmare. He deserves all of it.
He's going to light something on fire in that match. You just know it.
He'll light himself on fire. I don't give a shit. He's going to be on top of the cage and just like light himself on fire and then jump into the ring onto everybody. And then Seth is going to go burn it all down as Cody jumps.
Yeah. Well, he did the jump last night and that worked.
Yeah. He's a madman. Madman.
By last night, I mean Monday, because the time is a flat circle.
Yeah.
And NXT was fine because the matches had stakes, so I enjoyed that.
Madman.
We got a few minutes left. You wanna do your thing? It's Wednesday night.
We got a tremendous lineup tonight for everybody on AEW Dynamite live on TBS at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to Portland, Oregon, home of the Trailblazers. They're not very good. They're a bad basketball team this year. And the main event, MJF defense. All right, let me actually talk about this because people are like super excited about this Dynamite lineup, and I'm one of them. It was a great lineup. I don't know. People might say, "Oh no, Jeremy's gonna be mad about AEW." You gonna be mad about AEW, Joel? You don't like AEW. You're a notorious AEW hater.
Big
love that they're doing MJF Daniel Garcia. Do I wish that they gave Daniel Garcia more wins? Do I wish that they gave Daniel Garcia more wins than just Trent for him to call out this title shot? Yes.
On Rampage.
Yeah, I do wish that. But look, man, I ain't complaining about a Daniel Garcia MJF match. I ain't complaining about, I love that Penta cares more about Swerve breaking into Hangman's house than Hangman's own friends. That rules. That pops me. Like, Penta, stand up, dude. Bless him. Love that match. Jay White, Mark Briscoe rules. Red Velvet's back. Julia Hart, like that. Samoa Joe, Keith Lee, be cool to have ROH matches on ROH, but look, it's gonna be a good match. It's gonna be a fun match.
God forbid.
Sting wrestling his first match in Oregon since 1989. Sting and Darby. They're gonna have a lot of fun with the Outrunners. That's just a fun team that Sting can play off of. And we're getting Sheeta and Storm sit down interview. It's a good Dynamite. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, there's a lot on the card I'm looking forward to. Like you, I didn't really love the build to Garcia and MJF, being Garcia beat Trent and said, I want a title match. And I like that Daniel Garcia is like excited for it and has put it all on his socials that he's like, this is what I was supposed to be. And he should win. There's a part of me that's like, it'd be great, but it's probably not going to happen. Mark Briscoe and Jay White. Okay, this is a match I'm looking forward to. This is not a match that should have the stakes that it does. This shouldn't be if I win, I get your title shot. I feel like
it's the title.
He's gonna get the dance. So we got 2 AEW World Title matches in one night. If anything, Mark Briscoe should have stolen the damn title, given it back to MJF, and be like, "I want that title shot," and MJF be like, "All right, you get one on Dynamite." I would have done something like that. But again, I'm not going to complain about the matches themselves because in ring that sounds like fun. Keith Lee, Samoa Joe, enjoying that. Would I prefer that be something that Kate and Reg get to talk about on a Thursday night? Sure, but we're here on a Wednesday, and that's what we're gonna do. I don't think Keith Lee's gonna win the World Television title tonight. I just don't. So
neither.
Sting and Darby Allin versus the Outrunners. I agree with you. It's going to be a match that they're going to have fun with the Outrunners, and then afterwards we're going to set up more Adam Copeland and Christian Cage and his stuff. And hopefully Christian mentions that someone has a dead father. And then Red Velvet, Julia Hart. Great to see both women back. Julia Hart back from her honeymoon, and Red Velvet back from an extended leave due to injury. The one thing about this is like, I don't want to see either woman lose right now, unless you're about to tell a larger story, which it feels like with Julia Hart you are, because Sky Blue will come out and I assume, further that, and Willow as well. Or maybe Red Velvet's going to have a character plot point moment, which I wouldn't hate either. So there's opportunity to tell the story. I just don't like that you're putting both women in, and in a company where you typically have people win and lose, you're going to have someone lose on their first night back. And then Swerve and Penta, you said it, Chi-Town Spurs sent a super chat saying Hangman was clearly getting people out to vote in Virginia. That's all it was.
It does roll that Alex Abrahantes was like, Penta finds it disrespectful that you broke into Hangman's home. Like, yeah, fucking tell him, Abrahantes. Go tell this to the elite. Kenny Omega's worried about his Sega sponsorship and whatever Chris Jericho's doing. And the Bucks just, I don't know what they're doing. They don't care about anything.
They don't either.
Yeah. Like, yeah, you tell him, Abrahantes. Fantastic. Love it.
My soul will asking who opens tonight. What's his face? Orange Cassidy opens tonight. He's not on the card, but they'll just bring him out just to open the show.
I think MJF Garcia closes, but man, they got to get the belt back with MJF. Like, I don't like these world title matches where you don't have the world title around your waist. The optics are just off-putting to me.
And that's why I want, if they're going to do MJF and Garcia last, I want to see Mark Briscoe, even if he loses, or even when he loses to Jay White, he somehow gets that belt, or someone gets the belt off of Jay White and gives it back to MJF. It just needs to happen.
I love this from Jeff Valley Driver. Fantasy booking, Keith Lee winning, Lee and Shane Taylor for ROH TV title would be like, yeah, I hope they actually do the Keith Lee Shane Taylor match that they've been building, because we never got Keith Lee and Swerve. So I do hope they do that. And this is not just, this is, I'm going to be a little critical. Sorry.
How dare you?
I know. AEW can do this. They can do great matches at any point they want. This roster is good enough to do great matches at any point that they want to do it. That's how good this roster is. You can, when Tom's Customs does these like, here's this thing, like, oh, never thought about that match. AEW can do that. They can pick names out of a hat, be like, oh, this is a fun match. MJF Garcia, yeah. Just get there logically and build it on more than than almost a response to, hey, you want to criticize the booking? Here's this great match right here. And people are going to make the WWE comparison. I've already seen it, so I'll bring it up myself. People are like, well, Seth and Sammy didn't have a build. They just gave that away the same night and things. I don't disagree with you. Here's the thing. They gave it, and look, you can hate this if you want. I completely understand if you don't like it. They gave it something of, and they did this with MJF and Garcia. So this is not a critical thing. They gave it a point of Sammy got the briefcase back, or Sammy stole it, and then Seth wanted to reward him for stopping it and like, hey, I'm going to give you a title shot. Garcia got a win, which is great. Garcia got a win against Trent, called him out. MJF was like, yeah, let's do it. Cool. Fun with that. At least he won. Do I wish he would have won a little bit more? Yes, I do. Do I wish the Elite, the Friends, would, show up for their friend Hangman Page? Yes, I do. I wish they would just put a little care in. Like Keith Lee. When was the last time Keith Lee won a singles match? When was the last time Keith Lee had a singles match? I legitimately do not know. He probably beat somebody on like Collision, right? Like he beat some nobody on Collision.
Good looking this up too, eh?
Turbo Floyd. Yeah, there you go. So,
Turbo Floyd.
Keith Lee has beaten Turbo Floyd, Zicky Dice, Aaron Eagle. Oh, that was a Revolver match.
No, that counts. That counts.
Sure.
Now that Pro Wrestling Revolver is bringing in AEW talent and having a big event on Full Gear Weekend, it counts.
Sure.
That match, by the way, was in July.
They can do these challenges and just throw it out there as like, hey, this is a cool match. They can do that all day. And, they got the talent to do that. I wish there was a little bit more care into Daniel Garcia and MJF, which is a big match, mind you. Like it's a very big match and one that I'm looking forward to and should be really good. So, I just wish Garcia was on television a little bit more, winning matches before this and not just beating Trent to get this match, just because he beat Trent, because he lost all of his matches previous to that, including a bunch of like 6-man matches with the 2.0 guys.
I'm looking at the graphic where they put the whole like card on one, and Keith Lee, it's just so unfortunate. It just looks like Keith Lee is naked. It just looks like it's just the placement and like the shadows. It's very unfortunate.
Hey, look, I'll blame this all day. That stuff is not for me, and they got to figure out. Certain people got to figure out a way to avoid that, and but it is what it is with that. Matches should be great. Matches should be great tonight.
They should be. We used to talk ad nauseum on other shows about the Cody Island, right? Cody. But that was the thing, was that Cody was on a different island. Everything was different. But whatever Jericho does, it just turns into this like. Thank God Will Ospreay is one of the best wrestlers in the world. Oh God.
Cody would do shit to pop himself though. I don't know what Jericho's doing.
Jericho's doing it to get them on his podcast later.
Yeah. And the Omega stuff, like they got the sponsorship for this next week, which is cool, and it's Sega. I hope they're getting good bread off of that. Hope we got some Sonic rings and stuff going into this, but Paul White in this mess, man. Like again, Garcia made sense as a story for that, but I'm not complaining about Daniel Garcia getting this title shot. I just hope Garcia is in good hands after this, and it's not like, see, you heathens, we gave you MJF and Daniel Garcia. Now Daniel Garcia is just going to go back to, I don't know, doing whatever he was doing previously, backstage segments with 2.0 and Ruby Soho.
Oh, that's right. Anyway, it's a big show tonight, and I'm not talking about Paul White. I'm looking forward to Dynamite. Hopefully it's going to be a fun one. You and I will be back on.
We have a tremendous lineup for you tonight, Joel Pearl, at 8 p.m. Eastern on TBS. AEW Dynamite live from Portland, Oregon, 8 p.m. Eastern, TBS, AEW Dynamite. It's going to be headlined by a great matchup. Everybody's wanting to see this. Two of the brightest young stars in professional wrestling, the future of the business for possibly the next 2 decades. MJF, the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. You wouldn't know it because he doesn't have the belt, but he is the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. He's going to be facing Daniel Garcia, one of the brightest stars in wrestling history, one of the best technical wrestlers in wrestling, and quickly, fastly, already one of the best sports entertainers in professional wrestling. The man who does hold the AEW World title, but he's not the AEW World Champion, Jay White, he will put his AEW World title shot, or maybe the AEW World title, on the line against Mark Briscoe. It's great to have Mark Briscoe back on television, coming off this long layoff. He was back in the ring on AEW Collision. It's great to have Mark back. We love Mark Briscoe, big parts of ROH and AEW. He's going to be taking on Jay White, trying to get himself an AEW World title shot at AEW Full Gear, and walk into that match with the AEW World title, but he's challenging for the title at the pay-per-view, but even though he holds the title. AEW Dynamite, find out more on what I mean live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, TBS. Red Velvet is back after 9 months off. Red Velvet's back to stir it up against Julia Hart. Everybody, Julia Hart, she's back in the ring as well. Red Velvet against Julia Hart. That's a big match in the women's division. Live, 8 p.m. Eastern, AEW Dynamite. Also, Samoa Joe, the king of all television, he will defend the ROH World TV Championship against Keith Lee. That's a big, meaty match. All you meaty fans out there, all you meat fans that love AEW and the great AEW action, we're going to have a justified "This is Meat" chant for Samoa Joe against Keith Lee, as Samoa Joe defends the ROH Television Championship against Keith Lee. 8 p.m. Eastern, live, AEW Dynamite. We also have Penta El Zero Miedo against Swerve Strickland. Penta, like any wrestling fan, like any wrestler, like any husband, like any father, is very upset at Swerve Strickland for breaking into Hangman Page's home and leaving a t-shirt with his baby. He is not happy with Swerve Strickland. He's out for revenge for one of his good friends, allegedly, Hangman Page. Penta and Hangman Page, don't worry about them. They love drinking the beer together, even though Hangman is sober. He does not drink anymore. Penta, they like having the cervezas, the non-alcoholic cervezas. Penta and Hangman Page, they got a big friendship, bonding over the football. Penta loves football. Hangman Page he seems like a guy who loves football. Penta not happy with Swerve Strickland and his home invasions. He's out for revenge for one of his good friends, Hangman Page. They're going to clash in singles competition live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, AEW Dynamite. We also have what?
Penta is a big 49ers fan, thanks to his pal George Kittle.
He is. We also have Hikaru Shida and Toni Storm, the AEW Women's Champion. Hikaru Shida and Toni Storm, they're going to be sitting down with Tony Schiavone as Toni Storm is on her road to gold at AEW Full Gear. They're going to collide at AEW Full Gear for the Women's Championship. Hikaru Shida and Toni Storm. Can Toni Storm steal the spotlight one more time for Hikaru Shida? Or will Hikaru Shida take what is rightfully hers, and that's the spotlight and the championship? She already has the championship. Toni Storm has not stolen the championship like Jay White has stolen the championship, but she always steals the spotlight. Toni Storm is a spotlight stealer, not a title stealer. Also doesn't break into homes. Jay White steals championships. MJF's the champion. Penta is not happy about the person breaking into the home, but doesn't care about spotlight or titles. Anyway, they're going to sit down with Tony Schiavone live, 8 p.m. Eastern, AEW Dynamite, live on TBS. And finally, we have the Outrunners, Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd, one of the great up-and-coming tag teams here on AEW. You've caught them on AEW television. You've caught them on ROH television. You've also caught them on great wrestling around in the independent scene. They're one of the up-and-coming bright young tag teams here on AEW. They're going to be taking on Darby Allin and Sting, the legend, the icon Sting, and what is quite possibly his final match in Portland, Oregon. It's his first match since 1989. Sting has only wrestled once in Portland, Oregon in his historically illustrious career, and it was in 1989. And this is going to be his second match and his final match in Portland, Oregon. Sting and Darby Allin taking on the Outrunners. All of this and so much more. A great, tremendous lineup we have for you. It's quite possibly one of our best lineups ever. It's a pay-per-view worthy lineup. We hope you'll join us live tonight. AEW Dynamite, TBS, 8 p.m. Eastern. AEW fans, thank you for supporting the great brand of AEW. Justified, this is awesome chants.
There they are. Oh, and then they went away. You got to keep it up for the entirety to get those. Anyway, and if you want to keep it up, go ahead and like and subscribe here on this video and subscribe to us here at Fightful Overbook, because we drop content every day and we're back on Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. We have a very, very fun interview coming your way. We'll announce it eventually. You know what? I don't want to
announce it on Friday when they show up, just in case it falls through, because I never trust these things.
That's true. Stop trusting wrestlers. That's what I've learned. That's why I don't interview wrestlers. Anyway, Hausman dropped a new story about Billy Corgan's leadership and growing frustrations in the NWA over that. So y'all can go read that. EC3 gave his response to Hausman as well in that article. Just go check it out. It's a good read. I was reading it while we were doing the Tony Khan stuff. It's I
gotta look at it now. That's fun.
Very interesting read. Until then, I am at Joel Pearl, JOELPERL. We'll be back Friday, 10 a.m. again. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.